Hi, I'm Olivia. I also go by Liv. I'm a current sophomore at USC. I'm an IMGD student. I'm originally from Chicago, but I'm currently living in LA. I'm really interested in game design, especially like narrative aspects. I'm really into writing just in general. I've done a lot of like film stuff kind of on the side and also like theater. I was a big theater person, so I've kind of been through all types of art, and now I'm focusing on games. I guess like purely writing is like my passion for sure. I would like I know that no matter what I end up doing, like it needs to be writing in some capacity, but I definitely think that writing um just for like just in its purest form, like for a novel or something is like not my goal really. I wanted to be able to take it to the next level and have like an experience that would go along with whatever the writing was. And first that was film, and then it was theater, and then it was like dance, and I was like all over the place. But eventually I was really fascinated by the way that I saw storytelling in games, and I saw a lot of potential that I didn't really think was utilized completely. Um, so I would eventually love to be a narrative designer or a creative director for like story-driven titles in video games. So Girls in Games is a new club that we're starting like through the USC Games program. Basically it started through like um, me and a bunch of my friends who are also girls in games talking, and we were like, why isn't there a club for girls who are specifically interested in video games, like professionally and or socially? And we were talking about it, and I kind of realized that it wasn't just me that wanted this. It was like basically everyone I knew, like who identifies as female in some way. And I then realized that there was like a huge need for this. Like, there's a lot of clubs at USC that are like girls in STEM, girls in like entertainment, girls in film. But I think that gaming and like the games industry is such a specific culture and environment that I really think that our experiences are like unique, and we can't generalize them in like girls in like girls in technology or girls in like cinema. Like, it's not really the same experience that we have. So I thought it would be a really fun idea, and yeah, so me and a bunch of my friends who are also IMGD students, we're all about the same year. We all kind of grouped together and had a conversation about it, and then we approached the faculty, and it sounded like everyone was pretty much on board. But yeah, we're like super excited about it. We're hoping to eventually, once we're back to some kind of normalcy, have a variety of club activities. But for now, we think there's a lot we could do with like online communication and like creating a community that we didn't have before. So I'm one of two SAs. I'm gonna give credit where it's due. The other SA is my best friend, Gail, and so we work alongside each other. And basically, we are the lead SAs for AGP. So there's a few different essays for like the different branches, like usability or production or engineering, but we basically oversee everything, and it's about as daunting and time consuming as it sounds. Like, we talk to everyone, which is probably my favorite part of the job. Like, before in being involved in AGP, I wasn't super involved with like the faculty and the other students, especially my freshman year. I definitely was like isolating myself a bit, and that's like one of my regrets, obviously, because now I was like, oh well, in-person school's over, so I don't have that opportunity anymore. So I'm really grateful for the opportunity to be an AGP, and I get to meet faculty who I had never met before. I get to talk to students who are doing these amazing projects that I never knew about before. Um, Even though I'm not like just to be clear, essays don't work on the games, which is like a misconception some people have. We don't actually like do game development for AGP, but we kind of oversee everything. So we know everything that's happening with all the different projects. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm learning a lot. Like even though I'm not doing game development myself for AGP, like seeing other people's trials and tribulations and their challenges is kind of amazing. Like I think I learned a lot, and I think if I ever do an AGP, God forbid, I'm kidding, but like if I ever get to the point where I'm doing an AGP, I will know so much, and I'm really just grateful for the experience altogether. I don't know. I mean, it's hard for me to narrow down like a specific day or anything like that. I definitely think just overall the people I've met has been like the best thing for me. Like, obviously, um, it's not like I'm not saying that I'm like Miss Popular and I've met like a ton of different people, but in terms of like faculty and some of the friends I've made along the way, people that I never would have met if I hadn't come to this school, if I hadn't pursued this major. Um, it's really awesome. And I had the fear of like being a girl interested in video games and like especially coming into this school feeling like I didn't know enough, feeling like my skills weren't like up to par, feeling bad about myself because I hadn't done as many projects as other people and I didn't know as many like coding languages. And I was like, I wasn't an artist. I was like, what am I doing here? But like I've met so many people that have so many different talents like across the spectrum, so I guess that's my favorite part of USC. Like being able to attend the film school is like insane. Not just because the people in games are amazing, but also your interaction with film people is really cool too, because the backgrounds that these people come from is like insane to me. Like I'll talk to somebody and they'll be telling me their life story and I'm like, wow, everyone is here. I settled on game design. I think I kind of decided it was what I wanted to do in eighth grade, ninth grade, which is a bit, I don't know if that's like late, but it was like kind of, I had a long period of wanting to be an actress. And also wanted to be like a director for films. So I was like film oriented for a long time. So my pivot to games, like if my life had been slightly different, I probably would have applied here as a production or screenwriting major, and we wouldn't be talking right now. But I did apply as a game IMGD major. I got into it because like in middle school, I guess I had that deep dive that I think a lot of people similar to me have, where I really got into games. And a lot of people I know grew up with video games like in their household. Like their parents had like old consoles and then they kind of just, it was kind of a part of their upbringing. And that was not my experience. Neither of my parents are tech savvy at all. I had a Wii, but everyone had a Wii, so doesn't really mean anything. But I just kind of discovered it on my own. I was watching like a lot of YouTube and I was watching a lot of like, I didn't have a console of my own. So I watched a lot of like Let's Players. I saw a lot of games that I was like, I didn't know video games were like this, because I think there's a misconception from people outside of games that games are like all Super Mario Brothers and they're all like platformers or they're all like racing games or shooters. And it's like, there are other types of games as well that actually have the same characters and storylines that you would see in a TV show or a movie. And once I had that realization, I started to pivot into games because I realized that I really liked the third layer, that it's not just a third layer, like the 10 other layers that come with game design and storytelling and game design. Because when you bring interactivity into an art form, it becomes something else entirely. And I really liked focusing on player experience as well as narrative. Um, so I guess that's kind of why I set my sights on game design. I am kind of in an eternal state of working on projects. Um, I I have a problem with like balancing personal projects and like also like school projects. I have a hard time like doing personal projects at all when I have schoolwork because I'm like, why would I do that? But I'm definitely making it a goal for this school year to be like working more on that stuff. As a writer, I guess, I'm always writing something. Whether it becomes something like visible is a bit different story. I am currently in a writing for games class, and I am working on like a long pitch for this video game that is like, I guess almost every game designer has like their dream game that's like their baby. And I've had that for like years and years and years, but I have never like talked about it to anyone because it's always been so personal to me. Um, so I'm really excited because in this class, I'm actually presenting my idea to people. So it's like I guess, a practice pitch for me someday pitching it to the real world, which is something that I hope I'll be able to do. And besides that, I'm like working on a few different novels that may or may not be made into games. I'm not the best programmer or designer on my own, so making a game on my own is quite daunting. But I have been working more. I've been doing a lot of like, I guess like free form work in Unity. Just to I've been trying to do art also. I'm not an artist, but I like to believe I am sometimes. So yeah, I'm kind of all over the place. Definitely I always have something in the works, whether it's something that's going to actually be published and like on my portfolio. I have no idea. I never like work on something being like, I will show this to people. I just work on something because I'm like, this is in my brain and I need to put it on paper because, or else it's just going to be in my brain and then I'm going to forget about it. And then that's a wasted idea. And we don't like wasted ideas. So yeah, that's long answer. Definitely. If you're thinking about applying, I would say apply. Like I remember when I was applying to USC, I had I mostly applied, like I said, I came from a public school. Like I came from a public school in northern suburbs of Chicago. Like I was not on the map at all. I had virtually no like actual game design experience. Like I had computer science knowledge and I had this writing background and this theatrical background, but I didn't it's not like I had a long portfolio of games that I made or anything. And I was really discouraged because I mostly applied to safety schools. I was like, USC is a reach for me, like not even a reach. I was like, that's a dream that I'm not going to be able to achieve because I was intimidated by the admissions rates that I had seen online. I was like, oh, there's this many people that get in. I'm not going to get in. And so I was really not believing in myself, I guess. And I almost didn't apply. Like I remember the day that the portfolio for IMGD was due, like the day my application was due, I hadn't finished yet. And I was talking to my mom and I was like, I'm just not going to do it. Like, what is the point? Like, this is just a waste of my time. And she was like, what? You're being silly. Just do it. Like, we already paid the fee. Just apply. And I was like, all right. So I wrote up something. At the time, I didn't think it was great. I came up with stuff. I tried to get into it. I applied. I didn't think anything was going to come of it. And then when I got my interview, I was like, my whole world changed in an instant. And I really cannot express enough that I did not think I was going to be able to go to USC and study at USC Games. Like it was not a possibility for me at all. I didn't think I was special. I didn't think I had anything to offer. But then just through my interview and just through the admissions process, I really had like a boost of confidence in like myself and my skills. Like I'm not the most confident person, like baseline, I guess, but I'm so grateful that I got into this school and that I applied in the first place because it gave me a boost in confidence, at least in regards to like my skills. Because now I can say with confidence, like I know I'm a good writer. Like I know I can communicate well. Like I know I can do these things well, and I know that because I got into USC and I got into USC Games, and I'm here now. Yeah. So my advice is like, don't discount yourself. Don't give up. Just apply. If I'm here, you can probably be here too.